This is Fano from An Hour with Wolfpack, and this is my segment Steppin Out of Babylon, and this is day 47. Today's date is March 8th, 2016. And today I did the usual morning diet, and then I did a salad and a kefir smoothie. And then I did a tea. And then my nighttime diet. I would say today though, and yesterday, my life kind of has been presenting itself as like stressful. Not like on the food standards that not eating something stressing me out or not drinking or any of that stuff. But just like people in general. And I guess like story, I had to like today go deal with my phone company. And, I know business. And they, long story short, my phone company pretty much made me switch my plan and talked me out of it and screwed me over and said I made up stuff because I signed a contract, and no matter what they told me when they sold it to me, it didn't really matter. All that mattered was what was on the contract. Now, here's my thing. Like, I understand business is basically Satan and it's all evil. But then I think when I was telling these people, I was like, that's like wrong as a human being. Like, you shouldn't talk to people and lie to them and do business with them and then tell them that they're screwed. And then it made me realize about the whole system, how it's not about who's right, who's wrong. It's just about, you sign a thing that says they're not wrong anymore no matter what you do. And if you don't read it or understand it, it's your fault. Even if they told you you're getting one thing and then you're getting something else. So I realized that, I'm talking to like human beings, and in my head, like, I already read these people and their energy, and they're just working. But it's like I have to sit here and argue and talk to a human being who could, be very beneficial to the world, but their job is basically to sit there and convince me that I'm wrong, and or tell me that I'm wrong or they're wrong, or they'll try to help me. But it's like so pointless, and then it just like frustrates me. And then you think, okay, well, screw this carrier. I'm going to go to a different carrier. And the reality of all this, that it's all the same. Like, no matter who you go to, they're all crap. And even if they give you something, it's nothing really. I mean, I worked customer service type jobs, and, people can complain, they can get stuff, but the company always ends up winning. And that's what's like so horrible about this, about everything, is that everything's like this. Everything's like a contract. Like, all your bills are contracts, all of your, almost like all your like relationships are like contracts in a sense. And what makes me kind of mad is people just don't go beyond that and just be a human being and just go like, oh, that's messed up. Yeah, let me try to fix that or make it the best that I can make it, or go like an extra mile. And no one does that. It's just like, oh, that's the way it is and that's your fault. And I guess, it is my fault for being conned into things and not believing my intuition, just to not take on new perspectives on life. But it also at the same time makes me just want to be like, get away from all of this Babylonian stuff. Like, it's like, what? Like, how do people on a day to day basis go through this life and deal with all this bullshit, and then just like everyone just accepts it? It's like, I mean, maybe everyone just thinks like how I think, where it's just like, okay, all this is crap, and you think it's crap for a few days, and then you kind of just forget about it until like the crap piles up again, and you have to smell the crap. And but like for me, it's like I'm poor, so it's like I'm stuck in this shitty ass system, and all these systems are shitty if you're poor. The only time it can be better if you have money, or you're out of the system and you live in like in a tribe in the middle of nowhere. Then you're completely free. But I think that's why being conscious in the system is very like hardcore. It's because for me, it's like the more cleaner I get, the more like, I don't have things to, transfer all that bullshit energy into like alcohol or into doing drugs or into like eating a piece of cake or something. So I have to like deal with it. And luckily, like I do art, so I can just like transfer all the energy into like art. But I think that's the aim of the game, is that they make everyone pissed off out of animal instinct, and then they just, give people all these like drugs. But people are conscious enough that say, no, I don't want none of that shit, and then everything would change. We wouldn't have phone carriers charging people $10,000 a year for a phone plan that gives you cancer and costs you shit tons of money. And it's just like everything. They charge you and charge you and charge you and charge you. Then you work and you work and you work. And it's all pointless. So I think the biggest thing people could vote with their dollars is just eat really healthy food. And then the more and more you cleanse out, the more and more you're just like aware of what's going on. And I think it's like the more you drink and the more you eat bad, it's like you just don't care because you get your happiness through these things, but they're killing you at the same time. So it's like I'd rather just be mad and pissed off and upset about things and be totally conscious of what's going on than doing drugs or anything and not paying attention to life. It's like I'm in this hamster cage. I want to be aware that I'm in there. And I guess that's people's like moderations. I mean, moderation idea that people have is that everything's bad, so why even care? And it's like, well, you know why you would care? It's because if you ever want kids, or if you don't want kids, someone else is having kids, then you should care for them. Like, that's the whole point of life, is to pretty much reproduce and have the offspring live on, and, the human race to keep going. Like, yeah, none of us really made it this bad. We kind of just woke up one day and was like shoved into this hamster cage and had to start running on the wheel. But you can come aware of that you're on the wheel and say, well, all right, how do I get out of this hamster cage? Because that's what we're stuck in. We're stuck in these artificial boundaries. It's like, why can't you just go travel the country? And why can't people just help you along the way? I mean, they're all humans, right? They should be able to help human beings out. But we all learn to, like, we're all taught to basically be selfish and not help anyone. But that's why, like, this one guy I listened to, he talks about, like, aliens and what's going on in the world now. There's like demons and there's heaven or good energy, bad energy. But he's just like saying that it's so spun out of control. It's all gonna collapse on itself. All the negative energy is gonna collapse on itself. So it's like, really, if you're like in a divine energy, you just pretty much all you can do is eat right and focus on yourself, and then just pretty much wait till you die. Cause literally, it's like I'm not God. I'm not some super alien or something. I can't go out there and change the whole world. And all I can do is just change who I am. And so I think that's what it is. Like when you're on certain diets and things, you just gotta kind of go back into your own world. You can't be so possessed by outside world because it's just so bad. But being conscious, I just want to explain like how bad these phone places are. It's like they got all these people working on Wi-Fi. Like the whole place is Wi-Fi'd out. Everyone's on tablets, and those are Wi-Fi'd out. And the worst thing is they have these like neck, like Bluetooth things. It's just so mind-boggling that people don't know how bad Wi-Fi is, and then they put these like a Wi-Fi device around their whole neck. It like reminded me of like Planet of the Apes, or I forgot what movie or show it was, but they controlled people by having like rings around their neck, and it would shock them, or like they could control these people. And it's like they got all these people working there, and none of them look healthy. They all look like spazzed out. The guy that's helping me was overweight. He was just like looked toxic. Wasn't like a good looking person or or nothing. And then everyone else in there is just all toxic out, and they just had this mindset of like selling things and bettering and making more money, and not really caring about they're interacting with human beings. And it's just like sick. It's like so sick. It doesn't really make sense why we have phones to begin with, but I guess it's because people are so like beyond not tribal anymore that now we need to be able to communicate with each other in distance. For what reason? I don't really know. I really only have my phone on is for work purposes. But like if I was just using it personally, I would have it off all the time unless I needed to use it. And or at least have it off half the time. I mean, just research how bad cell phones are. Just research how they never even researched cell phones. They just put it out there. And the research was done on us. And they just said it was safe, and it wasn't. It's not safe to put microwave frequency stuff, radiated things by your head. I mean, there's a video on YouTube you can look up. It's like they put 3 cell phones around this popcorn kernel, and they call the phones at once, and the kernel pops. Like that's how much radiation and heat is coming off all these phones. So I just think they're genetically modifying all of us. And my generation is the generation that's getting modified. It's like my parents' generation, they got the beginning of it, and my generation, everyone's dying pretty much. And everyone's like, no, that's not happening. But all statistics show all the diseases now are like 1 and 2, 1 and 5. So if you don't got one of the disease, you're in one of the other diseases, pretty much. Let's eat like super clean. Let's see to stop all these addictions. Find people that are loving. And I think that's the hardest part, is to actually find somebody who is, on a pure, euphoric, evolution of who they are. But I think it's hard because jobs hold people back from being their best selves. You know, people's families hold them back from being their best selves. I mean, it's almost like if you think about like a virus, like the virus pretty much tainted everyone. And you have the opportunity to get rid of the virus just by eating right and thinking right and being spiritual, you know. And that's the thing, you have to eat right. You have to understand that, you know, you're not right all the time, but you're a human being. You can be upset, but to understand people. And at the same time, the next step after that is just to become spiritual, connect with what's outside of what this is. It doesn't matter if it's through religions or it's just through the ideas of things. I mean, just because the world's not bad. It's because stuff in the world is not always pleasant. Doesn't mean you have to give in to that side of life. I just don't really understand why people do such horrible things and they don't feel bad about it. Or maybe they do, but then they just one day forget about it. But I think it's because there's so much things out there to distract yourself. There's so many drugs. Like eating a fast food hamburger is a drug. Eating any type of sugar, man-made, is a drug. Sex is a drug. Watching TV is a drug. Doing anything all day for no reason is a drug. So, if people just use their energy towards a better way to benefit everyone else, like if we all just did things to benefit everybody else, and then at the same time worked on yourself, or if you didn't even do things to better everyone else, if you just did stuff for yourself, you know, in a positive way, then everything would be all right. Like, but it's just like rough. You go out to the cities and you can just walk around and see like so much sadness. You know, even if you don't look at the population, you look at maybe like the poorer people, or if you go to like a really rich area and look at the rich people and like just see how unhappy they are. You know, so I don't know, if something that's non-human supposed to come and help change human beings or do something in that sense, you know, cool. I'm all for that. But I think what all the religious stuff and what all the spiritual stuff is teaching everybody is that here's a way to do it. Like, here's a way to tie your shoe. You know? But every day you're just supposed to be tying your shoes. Or you can get better than tying your shoes. How about not wear the shoes? How about walk around barefooted? You know? The other worst thing I saw today that kind of stirred me is those. I don't even know what they're called. They're like segways without the stick, and people just like, I think they're called hoverboards now. But I just think in my mind, it's like, why does anyone have this device? Like, I already think it's like, do people not want to walk, or do they think they're cool using one of them? It's just like, I mean, what I think, and through evolution of technology, it's just gonna get worse and worse, and people are pretty much not even gonna be moving around. We're just gonna be like jacked up to something. So it's a weird era of human energy to live in, where people are turning into like non-humans. It's weird. It's like watching a polar bear or a squirrel or a turtle or a rat just like transfer into something else through like technology. It's fucking weird and it's gross and it's not real. That's not what this world made us to be. But I think through enough like lies and bullshit, people will become awake and aware of what is going on, and not step so much forward in technology and step back into humanity. And I mean, it's almost like I could even think about like dating now and stuff. And I always thought, oh, all these apps and websites now that you can go and meet people on is good. You meet people that you would never meet walking around. But what I realize is you meet all these people, and maybe you're not supposed to meet any of them. And they all have kind of like the same issues, and everyone there goes on there for the same reasons. And it's like kind of if you go to a bar and you're drinking and you see all these people around and they're all doing the same shit. They're drinking, they're all alcoholics, just like yourself because you're in there. And, you're all meeting for the same reason. Half is primal and you just want to like reproduce, and the other half is like this society version of you that you want to get to know somebody and feel love. But the thing about drinking, you're lowering your frequency and you're just gonna meet low frequency people. And I guess it's the same thing with online, is that so many people are hiding themselves that you don't know who you're meeting or what they are. But you could just be walking around a store, walking around the streets, and it's the same encounters now. So, I don't know. It's kind of hard to find people that are very traditional anymore, to have values or, anything, because we're so taught now to not really believe in who you are and your culture or whatever you want to believe in. Like, we're all put on the spotlight now, and then we're all judged by millions of people when we should only be judged, if anything, by 10 or 20 people in our tribe, not millions of people, not millions of different energies changing our energy that don't even serve us. So, on to with that, and this is Fano from An Hour with the Wolfpack, and this is my segment Stepping Out of Babylon, and this is day 47. Today's date is March 8th, 2016, and I hope everyone lives with love and compassion, because if you don't love yourself, then you can't love other people, and if you're not compassionate, no one's going to be compassionate towards you.